Yo everyone. Hello. Hello Kingcat.
Hi.
Today we have another game finally after a substantial break in the tournament, in a slowdown I would say. I mean, no surprise there. Summer after all. We have an interesting one today. Mikolaj and GioGio versus Senna and Generalen here. Alright, I need a few minutes to set up the thing and you can introduce the game.
Yeah, where are you looking?
Foot Soldiers country right now.
Footsoldier. Alright. Yeah, we have Footsoldier as a blue Asian playing in the middle of the map. Footsoldier, also known as Senna. And yeah, here's the Asians. We have starting position with a lot of trees actually, so Asians should be kind of happy. There's some space to be captured towards the middle of the map. He's kind of close to his opponent, and yeah, his mountain is all going to the back. And he's also got a little lake to go to. So yeah, let's see. Senna opted to build a tower towards the middle, which also his opponent did, and his opponent is also advancing quite aggressively with pioneers, while Senna did not choose to do so. So yeah, quite an expensive start for his opponent, but there's a lot of land to grab and also very good land in my opinion. It looks very flat all around, and once you cut down some of the trees, then you should be able to build very well on it. Let's see what the swamp situation is like. There's a little bit in the starting land. Actually a good place right now to build his rice farm, so should be good in that regard. And another piece of little swamp in the south. So
Both of those swamps seem to be buildable, and for both players as well.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the Asians. I mean, sorry, the Egyptians. Big ass desert right off the start. I guess they should be happy they're actually playing Egyptians, because I can imagine. I guess the Roman wouldn't even spawn there, right? Because the desert is underneath the starting tower. I don't think I've ever seen it that way. But
Yeah, for me that's also
desert.
quite new.
Interesting. It looks funny. But that land seems to be relatively flat, I would say. Let me give it a... Let me check. I mean, no, actually. Even the... maybe you can build in the south for Generalen. You can build a large temple there on a pretty flat area. Yeah, but let's talk about the layout of the map. There isn't that much mountain at all, I would say. The players in the back have it a bit better, and there's no mountain in the middle, so there is not much that you have to fight for there. Overall, the land is pretty flat for the players in the inside of the, like, closer to the mirror, and
Yeah.
they're all on the same side of the axis, which tends to favor more defensive play in longer games, and especially in a case like this where you don't have to go for the middle, you don't have to slow yourself down unnecessarily. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, there literally is nothing to fight for in the middle, especially as also the Asian players are in the middle, which are not so dependent on securing big amount of stones. So they can expand where they need to, but they don't have to fight nail to death to be able to secure their long play.
And also, I think Generalen and Zennahoy are happier in that case than Mikolaj and GioGio. I think Mikolaj and GioGio would like to have a bit of a more dynamic game. I think it would favor them slightly.
Mm.
Although the races, like I've said it before many times, Asian and Egyptians can be very explosive. Samurai sword early on, the gold from gems for Egyptians, it tends to lead to a lot of fights at the beginning, and can be deadly too.
Yep. I wonder, is a is it good for an aggressive team to have the Asian in front, to have the shorter ways, or is it better to if you or would it have been better if the Egyptian was on the close spot?
I'm not really sure. I mean, you can argue that the Asian can call immediately once he gets level 2 and does some sort of push, so he doesn't have to transfer the priest at all. But I'm not really sure if you want to do that. Maybe in very like weird situations, then sure. I don't think it matters. At least I'm not really sure which one would be better.
So yeah, can we see that Purple already managed to secure quite a bit of the middle, and he also got a very good forest over there. So his wood production could be a little bit better from now on, as he has more trees at his disposal.
Yeah, that's true. Although he is building a third forester, his initial tower, and also shoveling the weaponsmith already. I'm not sure if that's just to have it there or they're planning something aggressive. I know Mikolaj and GioGio haven't really been playing that much lately. I'm not sure about Zen and Generalen. I think they took a break. Like in the last 2 weeks, they haven't been that active as much as before, obviously. Yeah, but Mikolaj and GioGio, they haven't been active for like 2 months, I think, maybe even longer.
Yeah, I have to admit that yesterday I kind of cancelled Zenas and Generalen's practice game, as I was the one who offered Generalen to play a Z+4 game. And yeah, he accepted that, refused to practice with Zena, and I guess if they lose today, it's my fault if they drop out of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm sure they will tell you that.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
We better hope they win. I mean, I'm thinking about last game because this is a losers bracket. You have to keep that in mind. So whoever loses this one is out of the tournament for good. And we approaching the final stages of the tournament too. And the game that Generalen and Zenna lost versus, I mean, theoretically much weaker opponents, was quite a surprise for everyone. So now they sort of under a bit of a pressure to redeem themselves in here. I'm trying to think who Mikolaj and GioGio lost to.
I think they lost against Metro Boomin and who was the other
Blazing
guy?
Star, if that's...
yeah, it was some kind of... I remember that Mikolaj had Romans, and he played quite an interesting style, where he crushed sawmills very early on, and stuff like that. It was an interesting game.
Yeah, I remember they were very clumped up in the middle. Mikolaj, that is, with Blazing Star. Yeah, but it's no shame losing to Blazing Star and Metro Room. I think they're one of the better players, better team in the tournament so far. I mean, especially Blazing has been performing very good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look what GioGio is up to. Going for an early farm, standard play, and building the weaponsmith and iron smelter very close to the starting tower, meaning the resources will be transferred very quickly. Also got the very good coal in the mountain so far. Not sure how good that iron mine is, but I presume it's pretty good. So night start there for GioGio, only now going for the second sawmill. I'm not really sure if that's fine. I'm not
I was
really
about to ask for that, because what I kind of learned in the last few weeks watching a lot of games, that you are kind of advised to build your second sawmill early, so you are able to get your first iron and coal mine down, and especially the gem mine, if you manage to get one, because I guess it takes a lot of time to afford all those buildings out of one sawmill only.
Yeah, I agree. I'll see how it goes for him. I mean, he's so far very fast. He's adding the second sawmill and additional woodcutter. 2 actually, one on the right as well. So he might be a bit slower in the mine situation, but maybe I don't know, he delays the coal mine. Yeah, but then the weaponsmith will still stop working, so I'm not sure. I think he will be suffering for a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad, I hope.
Yeah, but we can see from his teammate, from Mikolaj, that he's also already building his iron smelter, and weaponsmith is coming up soon also. So it looks like they both have the same approach, which looks to be quite aggressive.
Yeah, and Senna sees it already. I'm just checking. He has the spy walking right past the iron smelter of Mikolaj and the weaponsmith that's continuously building. Mikolaj adding another iron smelter, which I don't think Senna sees, but he sees the weaponsmith on the right. So I think he should be pretty alarmed at this point. Something's going on.
I wonder, is stealing allowed in the tournament?
Stealing with spies? No. With the priest, yes. I wonder what... so Zena made some decisions. Yeah, he cancelled, I think, additional stone cutters, and he's going for the weaponsmith on his own. He... wonder if he will build... Yeah, he will go for the medium house first, and then for the weaponsmith. I wonder if he adds the rice farm, or decides against it. Because, I mean, Mikolaj is very aggressive. He has only 2 sawmills, which I don't like at all. I think he should always go for 3. There's no reason to delay that. And he's a bit slow with the mountains. He found a decent iron, and I think that coal should also be fine. Not above the iron, that I mean. So, I mean, he's kind of lucky because he hasn't searched that much mountain.
Yeah, which is kind of a reoccurring issue for Senna, I think, from all of his tournament games. Seems to be always on the later side to explore his mountain, which can come to haunt him now, as he doesn't have a tower on the way yet towards the mountain. A house is finishing up, so maybe he wants to pioneer the way to the mines, but also a lot of settlers will be occupied with transporting coal and iron to his iron smelter, which will also be finishing up in a minute.
Yeah, that's true. He's going for the 2 large temples instead of the rice farm. So he's afraid that it's an all-in from Mikolaj. He probably sees that the 3rd sawmill is stopped. Maybe he saw it. So he basically what he wants to do now is just to recruit any swords and have the defensive samurai, which is smart. The defensive samurai is very, very strong, as proven in game they played against Matti and Ethan.
Yeah, I remember that.
Had a weird rush. Okay, it looks like GioGio managed to build 2 mines, and he's finishing a 3rd. He hasn't found the gems just yet. I hope there are gems on these small mountains.
Yeah, there's very bad mine, kind of, on the top right. But yeah, it's probably not what you would want to build, but I guess if you don't find anything else soon, you probably still build it to get at least to the next common power spike.
Yeah, I would go for it at this point. Let's take a look at Generalen. Okay, he's producing swords. That's probably Zena told him that the rush is coming. He's adding another weaponsmith on his own. I'm not sure who's ahead, if it's him or GioGio. I think GioGio has the iron mine already, so it's slight advantage, but nothing too serious.
One choice you have to talk about is that GioGio is making archers from his weaponsmith, whereas Generalen is producing swords as of now. But I think they don't quite have scouting information on GioGio yet. I think there was a spy heading into his direction, but it is still in the middle, I think. Still on its way.
Okay, I just realized on the other hand, GioGio has 3 spies at Generalen. Very surprised to see that many, but it's a good thing that they're scouting that much. One has just got spotted. Have you checked if they see what GioGio is up to? No, neither the Senna nor Generalen are. As you said, there it's only common.
Yeah, there are 2 spies. The southern one is a soldier, so there's a soldier entering his land, and yeah, he will get some information on the weapons, and also that brewery and waterwork is coming up.
Oh yeah, I see both the swordman and the spy hiding behind the tree, slowly making its way towards the mountain. Yeah, but that sword will get all the information they need. Except maybe that the gem mine isn't there yet, but that spy up north should see it. Meanwhile, Mikolaj producing swords, not building the second weaponsmith. I mean, rightfully so, he doesn't have the mines just yet to support it. Only now will finish soon the second coal mine. And he finished the third sawmill, thank god. And now building 2 large temples. On priority too. Interesting.
It feels like the two approaches are not quite synced up, as we have the Egyptian taking his time, kind of. After the fast weaponsmith, he will still need a lot of time until his level 2 will be out, and until he is able to recruit soldiers and send support to his Asian teammate. And then we have this army composition of archers and swords. How do you like that?
I'm smelling something fishy here. I don't think it's a rush. I think it's just a fake. They might just, bluff the push, force Generalen and Zenna into defensive stance, and then go for a macro play. Maybe because maybe that wasn't what they thought initially, but maybe because GioGio hasn't found good gems. They changed their plans. Because now imagine if Generalen goes for swords as he is, and they have the comp, and Mikolaj and GioGio have the comp of swords and bows, archers and swords. They would just win every fight versus Generalen and Zenna, at least when the numbers grow a little bit. So I'm interested to see whether they commit to the attack or not. Zenna adding the farm, so he might suspect something similar, although leveling one just yet, so not building it.
Yeah, he's just now starting to build his mines, so yeah, he went for the level 2 before mines. Maybe it works out as his building still have enough coal, but Mikolaj will definitely have an edge over him regarding the ores.
Yeah, he will, and he is building the farm of his own and leveling another, but the second one is stopped, so he's only leveling that one. Adding 2 more temples, Mikolaj that is. Possibly for the maybe he wants the coal and samurai sword, or 2 samurai swords. We'll see. Zenna should have the level 2 around the same time, unless those builders walk away, but luckily for him they didn't. And we'll see how the initial fight breaks out, as with Asians you never know. Players might die right at the beginning. There are some pings going down towards the middle. Not sure what that's for.
Starting soldiers from Generalen are now coming into Zenna, and yeah, he should be kind of safe. In any emergency, he can drop the defensive samurai on the level 1 starting soldiers, and that should be plenty enough to deflect any attack which the Mikolaj on his own could start at the moment.
Yeah, that's true, and Generalen switched into archers, so he recruited level 1 swordmen, and now producing archers. Mostly because he scouted that GioGio is in fact going for archers himself. Generalen has 1 pyramid already, second one hasn't been leveled yet, whereas GioGio went for, as you said, the brewery option, so I think he might even be faster with the level 2, faster than Generalen.
Yeah, definitely no. And that can make it quite interesting, as 20 to 30 level 2 archers, even if they don't have combat power, you can do quite a lot with that if you go with that ball towards the tower and just shoot, try to not lose any soldiers, kite back, maybe have a healing station in your own land, heal up again, and annoy the opponent, and maybe it would force Generalen to recruit some level 1 archers as well.
Yeah, that's true. And GioGio knows that he just approached, like he just moved his spy closer to that pyramid. And also, GioGio found the gems. The mine is pretty good. Generalen found them as well, and he's building them already. Generalen and Zena exchanging priests. A smart idea. Zena sending one, possibly to one of Generalen's towers, so he doesn't get sniped. It's always something that can happen when Asians are in game. We'll see how Mikolaj and GioGio transition out of it. Mostly Mikolaj, because GioGio is playing a fairly standard game for the Egyptians here. He should be looking to add another farm quite shortly, maybe after that second weaponsmith. And he uncovered the gems, but he isn't building the mine just yet. That's a shame. I think he should go for it ASAP, because Generalen did.
Yeah. But yeah, if both teams are kind of playing the same now, both teams are in this kind of safe zone where nobody realistically can kill each other, then it's probably more about who gets the better way into long play, like who can make his rice farms faster from the Asians and who can drop more farms right now at this moment.
Yeah, looks like Mikolaj went for the farm option, whereas then I built the rice farm first. And Mikolaj hasn't even really taken the land to build the rice farm. The one swamp that he has, he would have to cut some trees down. Second one is outside of his border. That's not an option. He's building second grain farm in this case. He should be careful now, because Zena will have the 4 temples before him, and Generalen should have level 2 shortly, yeah. So some attack might come with Cole and Samurai. GioGio is now starting to recruit, but has a bit of a settlers problem. Should be able to recruit most of his weapons, but that was he had level 2, I think, for like a minute or two already, and he wasn't recruiting that quickly, unfortunately. And he's adding the second farm, as I mentioned.
Yeah, he also got 2 fishers already, which Generalen on the other side doesn't have yet. So that's also quite a good feat to have for going into a longer game.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't notice. Generalen is not building the gem mine just yet. Not sure why. Maybe he doesn't have the planks, or maybe he realizes he doesn't have the fish to support it in the long run. He's going for the 2 more pyramids. Huh. Interesting. Do you think there's some sort of ban play going down?
I wouldn't really like it, because in this kind of matchup, when you ban like Asians is involved, so they can just play the Uno reverse card and call the soldiers back kind of immediately, or at least after a few seconds. So I think like it loses a lot of its value. So yeah, not sure. Probably maybe they kind of want level 2 spears for a push to tank damage, but yeah, I'm not sure why you would go for that, as it's also a very big investment, shoveling wise now. So
Yeah, and
it must be important to him.
And look how far away, like, from the main area where he's building. It's up north, like he isn't building anything else over there. It looks like Zena is sending something to him, which I missed. I'm not sure really what it is.
I'd imagine it's the fish. Is that possible? Yeah, I think the fish is missing at the starting tower.
Where is it going? Why is it so far? I don't think it's fish. I wouldn't go that far. Is he going to drop it already?
Yeah, if he wants to send it towards
Oh, that's
the start
fish, you're
tower,
right.
yeah.
Like, but why would you send it to the star tower? Okay.
Well, he probably wants to convert the, what is it
Yeah.
now, 16 starting
Yeah.
fish immediately before
Okay, okay.
building the gem mine. Yeah, considering both players have their fishers very late, like Generalen placed them on the coast, but the shovelers are all busy shoveling the pyramids, so it will take some time. So I guess they will take the, what is it, 14 or 16 starting fish, convert them, and live off of that for the beginning.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, wow. I didn't even think of it. And that's probably maybe why Generalen is going for the pyramids. He doesn't want to like be behind in terms of the ban, because I mean the ban, like at the beginning you don't really have that much mana, so often maybe the Asian won't be able to call them back. But I think I still would go for the brewery because he has the farm. He placed it early on. He could support the brewery, both the brewery and the bakery, and I think the building them up there. I know he doesn't have a suitable space anywhere else, but building it up there really slowed them down. As we can see, his sawmills are overflowing currently.
Yeah.
Zena is suffering lack of iron currently. Yeah, so he will very much appreciate some of the ham that Generalen will be able to send him back, hopefully.
Yeah, he's building 2 new iron mines, so he's probably not crushing, but at least stopping his initial starting iron mine and send the food into the new ones. He also reached some very good swamp area where he's building another rice farm, and yeah, should give him a very good lead on the level 3 department on Mikolaj, who still hasn't made any rice farm. He finished up his 3rd and 4th temple and starts to build mills and food for now, and also placed the 4th saw. So level 3 is not at all the priority for him as of now.
Actually, 4th soul, you're right. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't even think of going for that just yet. But maybe they think their long play is coming, and they also had similar idea. GioGio and Mikolaj. Mikolaj sent 8 of his fish to GioGio, and GioGio just converted it into meat, and he should be sending some back to Mikolaj. Yeah, and he also GioGio sent him additional saw and the axe, so Mikolaj doesn't need to build the toolsmith, which he is building, but he doesn't need to for the additional food production.
Yeah. One thing I just noticed is that on kind of north of Zena and Mikolaj's land, there is a little bit of mountain where Zena is pioneering to now. And yeah, if he pioneers a little bit more to the middle with like 1 tower, he would be able to secure both sides. But as of now, we only see probably 1 good coal mine, so 2 good coal mines if you secure it. Not the most important mountain, but on this kind of position where mountain is very limited, 2 extra coal mines can make all the difference in the later game.
No, I completely agree. It might even be something on the like upper, like right-hand side of that small little mountain, like additional mines or something. This looks to be a good gem mine. Unfortunately, the Egyptians are too far away to use it. Before I was thinking, I just realized that like Asians and Egyptians really complement each other in that sense. The Asians need more like wood, so the Egyptian can send the saw as it happened just now. The Asians, I mean, they sort of better in the fish department because they have the spell. I mean, it's not really in the meta to use it currently, but it was a few months ago to cast the extra fish spell. So that's good for the like synergy over there too. Interesting.
Yeah. So we saw that Zena crushed all his temples, which makes complete sense as he's transitioning into rice farms. But we see Mikolaj still keeping or holding on to his 4 big temples. So does that mean that with his 4 fourth sawmill coming up. He plans on going for level 3 with his, with 14 big temples. Is that a thing on render?
Maybe. I've never seen it, but it's Mikolaj. It's everything. Nothing is off limits, okay? I mean, when you think about it, is it... Maybe he doesn't go for like 14, but... I mean, he should be getting the rice farm, obviously. But maybe he goes for like a few more and then uses the mana for something. I don't know, interesting to see. Because he's not building it. I mean, it's fine, because he won't be in that much need of a extra wood at this point, I would say.
So there's a little bit of troop movement in the middle. GioGio seems to hunt the swords of Generalen, who just ran away a little bit. Now the archers are catching up, but nothing big is gonna happen here. Generalen will keep running away. And yeah, nothing really happens.
It looks like Zena has received the meat from his ally, and his mines are now full. And how good are his mines? 95%. And Mikolaj has not found these mines just yet. He's working off with the 40% one. So yeah, Zena will definitely have an advantage over there in terms of iron department.
Yeah, and the two iron smelters of Mikolaj are completely empty. And Zena's iron smelters are fully stacked. So whatever disadvantage from the timing Zena had in the early game, he's gonna catch up now in the next few minutes.
Yeah, Mikolaj realized that the mine was too bad to keep it. However, his two other mines that he should be building, or he's not building them just yet, so he will, like, his weaponsmith will not be working for at least a few more minutes. It's a bit worrisome for me.
Yeah. But he has his iron spell coming up soon. He stored some stones outside of his land, and I think it's 4 stacks already, and the 5th one is filling up soon. So he should have it in like a minute if he doesn't shuffle too many buildings which acquire stone for the moment.
Yeah, that's true. He's a bit short on settlers, finishing that medium house up north, and he should send some pioneers to capture that stone, which will soon become iron. You're right, he needs it, because especially at the beginning, like, small differences, 20 soldiers becomes like, it can mean that you lose the game if the enemy managed to produce a slightly bigger army early on. We see there's a movement from Generalen at this point. He's sending his swordmen south, potentially going to try to snipe GioGio's tower, but I don't see it working. At least not yet. Maybe if GioGio moves his soldiers north in order to help his ally during the attack.
It depends how close he could come to his land. Like, if he's still unspotted there, which, I don't know. I think it's a vision from GioGio on the bottom side of the map.
It's hard to tell. He may suspect that the soulmen are somewhere here because he has a few spies in the middle, but he doesn't have that direct vision on the swordmen down there. So he might suspect they're somewhere in the area, just not exactly where. And he's leaving a sizable portion of his army by the tower.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love for him to cover his flanks and position some spies to not get overwhelmed. Because yeah, if he, just as of now, would send all the soldiers upwards and General finds the lucky timing, sneaks through, then even though the swords are level 1, it can still be enough to overwhelm that or those lonely 2 towers. But yeah, he must be a little bit aware as he just built a second small tower next to his starting tower, so safety will not be neglected for him.
Yeah, that's true. Generalen is poking in with a spy down there as well, so I think he had one spy at GioGio's land, but he lost it, although Zena has one, so he sees that their plan is not possible to be executed just yet, maybe in the future. I'm going through Generalen's land, and it's in a bit of a shambles currently. I mean, he doesn't have the bakery. He's now only transitioning all his like builders and shovelers to the bottom right part of the country and building the food production over there, adding another farm, but his weaponsmiths are not working at all. He added the toolsmith, also not working. Yeah, so he will be on the slow side for the foreseeable future. Whereas GioGio isn't that much better, but he does have the bread production slightly earlier, and he has the second farm already harvesting grain.
Yeah. One big issue I have with GioGio settlement is that he kind of neglected his stone income. Like he's in a very big lack of stone currently, and yeah, starting stonecutters below his starting tower are basically completely empty, and he kind of missed the good timing to replace them. And now a lot of buildings are just getting the wood built into, but are not finishing up. So he's losing a lot of time. If he would have played this part of the game cleanly, he would pull very far ahead of Generalen.
Yeah, that's true. Instead he chose to build two foresters, which is not really something you do as Egyptians, at least unless you don't have trees at all, which he does. So I don't think that's necessary to add another forester at this point. He messed up with the stones.
I'm kind of surprised that the Egypts are not using their surplus of wood to send it to their Asian teammates to boost them up. It's not like a big commitment like sending tools or maybe even meat would be. But if you are unable to make use of your planks anyway, just give it to your Asian teammate. He will almost definitely find use for that.
Yeah, that's true. Although Mikolaj has plenty of wood at this point, he is working with four sawmills, and he is adding more temples.
It's the 14 temples, I call it.
Yeah, it is. 9 so far, but it's going to be 14, I think. And he managed to turn the stone into iron bars, and now, maybe not all of them, but more weaponsmiths should start working, pumping out weapons. I think now he will run into coal issue. Although he's starting to make bread, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue for too long. And Zena managed to secure that mountain up north. The coal mine isn't that great. There is an iron mine, which probably also not the greatest, but it's, better than nothing. And I guess Zena doesn't have to commit that much to that north tower, and always, he can always crush it if the attack comes.
Yeah. Looking at the mountain from Zena and Mikolaj, we see a very big difference in the amount of coal mines already. Zena is on 5 coal mines now. His bread production is just picking up, so sooner or later they will start running. Whereas Mikolaj, only has at 3 mines, but he also has 2 more mines coming. Bread is also running, so false alarm. He will soon catch up in that regard as well. And he crushed the starting iron mine.
Yeah, he did. That was a while ago. He's building another one back behind the snow. Although it's worth pointing out that Zena managed to fit 2 mines over there. I'm not sure if Mikolaj will be able to do the same. I don't think so. The way he plays this one will not allow him to build any more in that spot. And also it's interesting, on the Generalen's mountain, there's like 3 or maybe 2, at least 3 good iron mines like above the snow, and Zena took 2 of them. Hasn't built them so far, but he took them, whereas for GioGio and Mikolaj, it's GioGio who took those mines already, and he built one.
Yeah, it probably will depend how good the Asians will manage their coal. Like I think Zena, with his 2 very good iron mines now, he will be lacking coal more than he would lack iron. So maybe the idea is to also give him a little bit of the mountain of Generalen and to be able to build those scrappy coal mines later on, so he can balance his iron and coal income out more effectively.
Just comparing the countries of all the players, it looks like GioGio has a bit of an advantage in terms of production over Generalen, which is only now delivering first bread pieces to the mines. It's really painful to watch the weaponsmiths just standing there still. Luckily, Zena is pulling his weight at this point, his and his teammates. 4 weaponsmiths working very, very well. I'm not sure if he added the 4th sawmill. No, he's not, right? He is only working with 3. The forest doesn't look too great, but it's serving its purpose. He has plenty of logs in the sawmills. Whereas Mikolaj, I think he's waiting for level 3 at this point, because he's not recruiting. I mean, he doesn't have to. I don't think he's in danger of dying anytime soon. And also there's a sizable chunk of army from GioGio south from his land. And here Mikolaj is taking up more land for additional temples. Okay, that's the first one. Level 3 with the 14 temples as agents.
Yeah, very unusual, but yeah, if he manages to get there, I wonder how good in a position he will be afterwards. Like he will be able to crush all these temples, transition into farms very fast with the extra space. But then I wonder how big of a factor is it that yeah, he's not able to get any more mana, considering that as Asians he may want to use the Stone to Iron spell a little bit more often, as you don't have you don't have much starting or as much mountain. So that could be some way to get more resources. But on the other hand, he also doesn't have to put coal into his mana production, so he would win on that side. I wonder what will be the bigger effect the longer the game goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles to look at this. It's very interesting. And then, as I said before about the synergy between Asians and Egyptians, there is no synergy in terms of combat power, because I thought maybe they're going for the level 3, big ass push with Asian level 3 soldiers, but there's not really much combat power for him, and he would have to do it himself. Maybe GioGio could, but it's I don't see it happening really. I'm not sure what they do with level 3. I think he transitioned now into spears. He recruited level 2 bows, and he's now transitioning into level 3 spears. Maybe that's a better idea, just to have them tank. Hold on, he's going. He's just recruiting. I'm not really sure what's the plan is at this point.
And maybe he just wants them to replace the swords in his tower to get more lasting soldiers in case of an attack. But yeah, if we would make the choice to get spears to level 3, I don't know, like would be kind of all in, as he won't have archers level 3 for a very long time afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's true, but I mean that may be the play actually, as you have level 3 have a lot of health, and like he's an Asian here, so with no gold. So he may be, they would probably were able to like push with the Egyptian archers covered by the spears from Mikolaj. But that's not what they're going for, so I guess we'll never know. His production has halted, Mikolaj that is. He's collecting stone for another stone into iron spell, and he's now he has plenty of coal at this point, and he's suffering from that lack of iron. The mine he has is great, but I mean, it's just one mine.
Yeah, it's only one, and it doesn't pull its weight, whereas Zena still has his 2 iron smelters running through completely. But now the meat ran out, so he will be dependent on another load from Generalen. And he also converted his meat just a minute ago or so it's getting carried, and maybe he's a friendly teammate and sends Zena another patch of meat.
Yeah, he sure needs it, because his spell into iron is very far away at this point. So he will need the extra meat from his teammate. Even though he's lacking coal at this point, it will soon change. What worth pointing out, Senna built the gold mine. I don't see the gold smelter just yet. I'm just collecting gold ore at this point.
Mm.
And Zena has managed to establish a very nice food production. 5 farms already, adding 2 more pig farms, 2 pig farms, his first pig farms, adding 2 more bakeries and another grain mill. When he finishes that, that should be not all, but most of the food production he needs for the mountains that he currently has.
Yeah.
Gosh, on the other hand, not going for the pigs just yet. Has 4 farms, only one fewer than Zena, but he's focusing solely on that level 3, on the building those 14 big temples. It's still a few minutes away, at least 5, maybe even like 8, but he will have it definitely before Zena.
Yeah, but we can see it costs him a lot economically. Like Zena is able to put a lot more resources into farms in this moment, and also other stuff like more fishers and yeah, basically everything else. So yeah, the resource investment for these 14 temples is extremely big when you are only operating on 4 souls. Like on low goods or set maps in general, it can work well, but usually you have more production regarding your wood in that case.
And also I was worrying that there's no follow-up. Once he gets level 3, then what? There's not really a plan from them to really use that for anything, I think.
Yeah, and considering his weaponsmiths are not working, he doesn't really have a lot of weapons to recruit level 3 once he gets there. Like, he's still stuck on the 4 spears and 1 bow at his barracks, which were there already 2 minutes ago. And he's still waiting for the stone numbers to increase. What do you think? Like, don't you just stop collecting now and convert everything, even though you don't convert the full amount?
I think I'll just wait for the stone, you mean, or for the?
Yeah.
I think I'll just wait and make sure that you have the full amount, because there's no. I think they have slightly more army at this point. We can compare it later. So I think he just should maximize it, especially considering he's not really producing mana in any other way. So he should be also collecting the coal that he has. Oh, he just casted the spell.
So yeah, now we can start up again. Yeah, we can see that Mikolaj took 3 coal mines on GioGio's mountain, and he's also building a gold mine over there. So they split the mountain in kind of a different way. But now that I look at it, Zena also got a coal mine at the tippy edge of the mountain, so both Asians getting their fair share.
Yeah, the only difference I would say are those iron mines. It's a big one too. Not only Zena managed to fit 2 in his additional mountain, he also took the one from Generalen's side.
Yeah, and he also has the option to build another one to the left of that iron mine.
Yep, that's true. Generalen opted to go for. There's also a small mountain towards like the bottom side of the map for the Egyptians, which GioGio is only now going for. And Generalen is only building mines over there. There is one very good iron mine there, and there's another slightly worse, but still good enough to be built.
Yeah, but very good coal mines, and that will definitely help out on that position.
So in terms of army comparison, Mikolaj has almost 100 soldiers. Footsoldier is only a few soldiers behind. So, I mean, pretty much even in terms of Asian armies. But it was worth pointing out that Mikolaj is waiting for level 3, so he has a few... same, actually, Zena is not recruiting as well. So, they should be around even.
We have a small engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could end up being a kind of bigger engagement, as they kind of have a good angle or arc on the spot they're attacking, but yeah, they are pulling back now, so just a bit of poking, but one priest is gonna die. But I guess that's not gonna hurt Mikolaj too much, as he has plenty of priests at his disposal in this game.
He doesn't care. He can sacrifice all of them.
Like, how many hit points do they have? Is that actually a thing now, to tank with your priests in big fights?
I don't think so. I mean, they're weaker than soldiers, but I'm not sure how many. Like half of the soldiers' hit points, something like that, I would say. So GioGio has 140 army, and Generalen is slightly behind, 125. But his production is catching up, I think. He added a third weaponsmith, whereas GioGio also has 3, adding 5th and 4th, but I don't think they're going to work that well.
In the south, we just saw that Generalen's swords have been spotted, and they got pushed away by some archers from GioGio. So yeah, he will be alerted now, and yeah, maybe he ups his defensive game even more now to be secure, or maybe he makes his own swords to push the enemy swords back completely.
Yeah, it's a good play there by GioGio, having the map awareness at the bottom. No, General looks like he will stick around, but there's a spy covering everything, so any potential sneaky attacks should be spotted immediately. How far is Mikolaj from the level 3? And I mean, we said that he's not going for, he won't have another, like, more mana production. Well, he actually will, because he's building 15 temples at this point, and he's also building a cannon hall.
Ooh.
Yeah, looks like to be a spicy game. It's very far from the front lines, so it's unlikely that Zena will spot it. And I mean, cannon can do some serious damage, especially considering that Zena has a long border with only one tower covering it each piece.
Yeah. Yeah. But Zena has some more chances to scout it. Like, if he manages to scout the sulfur mine and what is it? Ammunition factory?
Gunpowder maker.
Okay, yeah, the gunpowder maker. So yeah, those two, if you spot either of those things, you will know immediately that cannons are gonna come. But yeah, if there is no vision, which as of now, let me check.
He can also spot the sulfur mine, right?
So wouldn't see it.
3, but no, he doesn't have the vision over there at this time.
Yeah, so it will take a while until this is all built up and come into effect, but can be extremely powerful.
Mikolaj hit level 3 just now. He only has 1 barracks. The weapons are fairly close, but I mean, I think he needs more barracks to recruit quickly, because time is of the essence at this point. Then also storing weapons of his own, waiting for level 3, which is, I mean, it's not going to be very soon, but I mean, 24% with 2 small temples. I would say it's a minute or 2 away. So there's a very small window that Mikolaj and GioGio have to attack.
Oh, what happened here?
Zena built a tower, and
yeah.
They can pause.
Ah, the archer made it in. A little bit annoying. I don't know if you just try to take a tower immediately, but oh, we have a pause.
What's annoying is that when you spectate someone and then type in chat, it typed as that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to pause and go to the toilet rather than pissing yourself during the game. Although true gamers have empty water bottles on standby.
It's the dedication the top players in ZL-3 need to show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is amateurs playing at this point, I think.
So yeah, Mikolaj is now crushing or at least he crushed some of his big temples, so he will now be able to build very fast, but I wonder what he will make of his material.
There isn't that much he can build at this point. I mean, he's going for the gold, but the real problem for him is that the Zenline has 2 pig farms. I'm not really sure, I haven't checked recently, but I don't think Mikolaj has any pig farms at this point. And we know that it takes a while for them to get going. So I think they have to make something happen with that level 3, or else they will be like falling behind with every minute.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like Mikolaj is back and GioGio as well. Should be resuming the game shortly. Alrighty, let me check the pig farm situation for Mikolaj. Yeah, he doesn't have any, and he's not even building one. So he's relying on the level 3 and the cannon. I don't think he realizes that Senna is close to level 3 himself as well. Although he recruited a lot of the weapons. I guess he got scared. He sees very well that Mikolaj does have level 3. I would say that's maybe a bit of an overreaction. Because on the other hand, they should be aware that there's no gold for Mikolaj.
But yeah, I think until the cannon comes out, there shouldn't be too many fights breaking out. Let's have a look at the Egyptians. Generalen seems to have his eco stabilized as of now. Like, there's plenty of coal and iron at his weaponsmith and iron smelters. He's adding more of them. Also built a lot more farms, so yeah, looks good for him at the moment.
He has 6 farms, 2 breweries and 2 bakeries, adding 2 more. Whereas GioGio also has 6 farms, 4 bakeries and 2 breweries. So they're fairly close. GioGio took a bit, as we said before, a bit of like more mine, especially iron mines. They're up top. So I mean, in theory, his production should be better going into the later stages of the game. He's suffering from lack of settlers currently, and he also obviously managed to fix that stone issue. And I hope he will keep building new stone cutters as the game progresses, because this is a big thing for Egyptians. They cut the stone very quickly.
Yeah, we can already see that the stonecutters he has in the south, like 3 of them, will become more and more inefficient the more time goes on. But yeah, he's building more stonecutters towards the middle of the map. And yeah, like stone is there plenty, but that takes more time and more focus to spread out everywhere. And also the swords are coming back, hunting down the level 2 archers and getting quite a bit of value. Like they already killed 2 soldiers over there. Forced the pioneers back. And yeah, but it's only a small annoyance, I guess.
Now, what I'm looking at is the level 3 for the Egyptians, because, I mean, GioGio had the brewery working from the very beginning, whereas Generalen did not. So I think GioGio is like 65% away, whereas Generalen is 140 something percent away. So if they choose to wait for that long, GioGio will be ahead. And I mean, it's good that he has like fast level 3. I mean, faster than Generalen, because he took so much mountain. He really wants to use it. Now they're making a stance at the middle part of the map, at the bottom side. But the thing is, like, Zena doesn't have really much buildings there, so even if they lose those few towers, they can safely retreat back further and plan their defensive over there. This land is just a free land. There's no, rightfully so, Zena isn't really building there anything.
Yeah. That can both be a good thing and a bad thing. Like the aggressive tower from Zena, kind of at the border, kind of limits the positioning of soldiers. Like they have to stand in an arc around the tower, so it's kind of possible to attack the bottom side or the top side and have the defender's army a little bit disconnected. But on the other hand, if Zena ever gets attacked, he will get attacked from a lot of angles and will have trouble defending those two bottom towers. But yeah, having the positioning and also not having it matter too much, that if you were to lose it, doesn't have any effect on the game at all, is also nice to have. So I like it that they have this kind of position over the enemy team.
Yeah, it looks like GioGio is moving up north, and Mikolaj has crushed all of his big temples except one at the very the border. He's adding more farms, 4 more, and then finally building the pig farm as well as the slaughterhouse. He doesn't have the sulfur mine just yet, so that's why his cannon isn't really progressing. And we can see Generalen is sending those swords back down south. They're really being pesky at this point. GioGio cannot get rid of them, obviously, because swords are much faster than archers. So they can be very elusive and run away from the army. Looks like now GioGio is sending swords of his own, with the archers trying to finally deal with those soldiers.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised that GioGio didn't bother to get to the mountain on his left. He doesn't really know at all what's in there. So looking at Generalen, it seems to be like one good iron mine, and apart from that, not that much. But I guess you still would want to have it.
You think he knows that mountain is there? I mean, he should, right?
Okay, that's. I hope so for him.
I mean, because he has GL just standing still, idling on the mountain that he has researched. It doesn't hurt to send them there. I'm starting to think he doesn't know the mountain's there, or maybe he uncovered it, but he just forgot about it, and that's why he's not taking it. Now let's compare the armies now, as both Asians recruited all of their weapons. Mikolaj is working with 170 soldiers, whereas Zena managed to surpass him quite significantly. Almost 210 soldiers. Also has level 3. Not as many as Mikolaj, but so their production, I mean, is kind of bad for both Asians, but Zena is slightly ahead in this area. Whereas Generalen 185 versus GioGio 188, so very close there. The only real difference is in the Asians, in the Asian side.
Yeah. Zena has a little bit of meat problem, as Generalen wasn't able to send him more meat as of late, and I think his slaughterhouse must have been late because his second pig farm is kind of ran full, which I think wouldn't have happened if the slaughterhouse would have been there in time. Yeah, but now the slaughterhouse is working perfectly and making meat for all those mines, so his production will ramp up soon again.
Maybe he forgot the axe. Also a possibility.
Yeah.
Mikolaj is going hard with the gold. He's working with 2 gold smelters. Whereas I don't think Zena is smelting the gold at all. So far relying purely on the gold ore. And I'm starting to think Zena is aware of the cannon. Yeah, he is. There is a spy right next to the cannon hole because he's adding additional towers by the border. So I mean, such a shame because adding a few more towers means the cannon will not be able to do much damage. I don't think you would need 2 or maybe even 3 cannons at this point.
Yeah, but it's very good awareness because that spy just got there recently, like 10 minutes ago. There wasn't any spies in the back of Mikolaj's land, so good on Zena to take the effort, get some more spies in, and get this crucial information now. And yeah, he will be able to defend his land a little bit better. Of course, you're never really safe, and also, especially in the north with this big desert, he will not really be able to prevent the cannon to get close to his towers.
That's true. During the attack, also cannons have lots of HP, over 500, so they can be used to tank some damage, I guess. And it's, yeah, as you said, it's worth pointing out that it's very good scouting by Zena. A lot of players sort of scout at the beginning of the game, but once the game progresses further, they sort of stop because they think there is not really much to scout because you've already passed the phase of, you know, rushing and doing like early pushes, so they just give up scouting entirely, which is a huge mistake, I think, because you can spot things like this, or you can spot things like your enemy doesn't have 3 people and they don't recruit for a bit.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I guess the next big important point in the match will be when GioGio will hit level 3, which could give them a little bit of a power spike again, because Generalen will take a little bit more time to get to his level 3. He just now got his third level 2 in, so 100% to go for him, while GioGio is lacking 24% still, so yeah, he should have it in like 3 or 4 minutes.
And he's already storing the weapons. And although Generalen has managed to catch up with terms of production, I think GioGio is still ahead in that department. He has 2 more weaponsmiths, although one is not working, but I don't think all of Generalen's weaponsmiths are working at all times. Yeah, there's one idling currently. So GioGio will be getting ahead. And maybe that's why they even in terms of army. Although now Generalen has surpassed him, but yeah, once the level 3 kicks in, maybe then GioGio and Mikolaj should be looking to attack, especially considering that Mikolaj is reducing gold fairly quickly now.
Yeah. But we see General moving in the middle, going towards the towers of GioGio.
I think they're aware that the GioGio is waiting for level 3, so they want to make a push. That's a smart idea.
Yeah, and GioGio reacted and started to recruit level 2 soldiers again. And let's see how committed Generalen wants to be in this situation.
He's working with 89% combat power, which is quite a lot. It's not equal to the defensive combat power, but I think Mikolaj will have to send reinforcements. Also, worth pointing out, Generalen has a few more spears in the mix, although not that many, so they won't matter too much. I think his conclave is slightly better, especially in the south. But he's lacking soldiers in the middle, and yeah, GioGio using it very nicely, pushing it there and backing up south. Very good fighting there, but GioGio and Generalen has to back off. Although I think he accomplished his goal because GioGio did recruit some soldiers, not too many.
Yeah, I would have liked if once the spears of Generalen were running forward, that he altered his archers behind them immediately. That would have been a little bit of a window because he had very thick archer lines at the bottom side of the fight. But yeah, he didn't take his chance. Now he's going back. Looking at the spots in the south still, they were moving while this was all going on. They were going towards the starting towers, but GioGio didn't take the bait, didn't panically send everything towards the middle. And yeah, Generalen went back again and is looking for another opportunity to make use of them.
Also, another thing to point out is they realize there is a mountain on the bottom left side of the map. Although it's Mikolaj who's taking it, not GioGio.
Mikolaj is probably like, okay, I'll do it myself, and takes the mountain.
He got pissed that GioGio took all of the iron close by, and he's going for he has to work with very far one. But I mean, it's better than nothing. He can also melt that little patch of snow in the middle and maybe get another good iron mine. So that mountain is pretty good.
Actually, I think that was a thing, that under the snow there are resources in Settlers 3, and you can Sometimes you can take this shot and just melt it, and maybe you are lucky and find a very good mine of some sort.
Yeah.
Once had a tournament game where that was very relevant on equally low mountain position, and under the snow were very, very juicy mines, and they decided the game.
It's always a gamble, right? I mean, unless you can see that it's sort of a mine that's starting to shape there. If there's like a big patch of snow and you don't really know what's there, it's a gamble. Where is Mikolaj sending the call? I'm curious. Is it just to the bottom side of his country, or he's going for he's sending it to GioGio?
I think he's sending it because there are settlers carrying away coal away from the mountain from GioGio.
Yeah, GioGio now has to really make sure he has enough settlers, because he got level 3 already, and he has 70 weapons left to recruit, and he's a bit of a settler situation right now. He only have 23 left, adding 7 more medium houses. A big one would be also a good idea, and he has only 40 pioneers, so he needs to really work on those houses and get the soldiers to the front line ASAP before Generalen hits level 3 of his own.
Yeah, but it's quite a lot of weapons then, to be fair. Like 70 soldiers, he will pull very far ahead soldier-wise of Generalen, and they are level 3, so this will be a very good chance to fight their back into the game, as the Asian mirror seems to be in favor of Zenahoy very, very strongly.
Yeah, Zena is already 50 soldiers ahead of Mikolaj. Whereas GioGio at this point is a bit behind General, but yeah, as you said, he has 70 weapons left to recruit, so they will be pretty even once GioGio recruits all of his weapons. And we have to also point out that GioGio has almost 90% combat power. I thought it would be more, to be honest, because he did build 2 mines. I think there was time that he wasn't storing the gems. Maybe
what
due
are
to
the
lack of
combat
seconds.
power spikes for level 3 now? I think 107 was one relevant one, but what's the one below that?
I think 90-7 is where you have as much pack damage as the defender. Something like that. 97, 96, 98, something like that.
Yeah. I really wish that GioGio would stop pioneering on the right side and send those pioneers to his barracks to get his recruiting done a lot faster, because it's their opportunity. The sooner they can strike, the better for them, because long play doesn't look too promising, at least on the Asian side. But GioGio himself against Generalen looks to be fine for the moment.
Yeah. Although they have quite a bit of time. I checked before, and General is 52% away from level 3. He's not even starting to store the weapons. So GioGio can take a few more minutes to recruit the weapons that he has, and yeah, they should be looking to attack. Mikolaj at this point hit 66% combat power, not too bad. I think like 70 something, right, is another spike for the level 3, which he may be able to hit before they start pushing, because he's producing from 3 gold meters right now, and he managed to finish the cannon, although it's obviously spotted by Zena. And he's adding more mana production. Build like 4, 5 rice farms at the bottom left side of the map, and I think he built another one on the right. He's going all in on everything, I guess. He's going for something, he's building it all the way.
I don't know about his distribution, but the sulfur mine doesn't get any rice, so he's not producing any more sulfur, so no more cannons as of now.
That's interesting. It should be, because he's sending the rice there in equal amounts to the distillery and the sulfur mine. Maybe he just changed it now. Okay, looks like Zana is posturing a little bit, moving, I think, south. And he also built quite a lot of towers in that middle part of the map that he but he sort of contested from Mikolaj's side of the mirror.
Yeah, they want to hold this position, and yeah, they make it harder for the enemy to capture this area of the map back. One thing I realized just now, but Mikolaj realized as well, that is one tower, yeah, kind of spiking into Zena's land is only a small tower, and he's building another small tower behind that. I probably would like to have it a medium tower at this point of the game, as even 2 small towers can be rushed down quite fast if you don't spend attention in the wrong moment. And yeah, he wants to fortify this area a little bit more, but yeah, let's see how much time he will get to do so.
He'll have to keep quite a sizable army at this location, even when they attack south, which I think is where they want to attack. And considering how many towers there is from Zena, they can give up the land, but I think they should resist as much as possible and bleed as many soldiers from Mikolaj and GioGio as possible in this area.
Yeah, I also think the situation for Mikolaj in his own land is quite dicey, because Zena has a lot of level 3 soldiers, whereas Mikolaj mostly has level 2 soldiers in that area defending his towers. So if Zena really wanted to, he could basically ult all his soldiers in, and I'm pretty sure at least the top tower, which we just talked about, would definitely fall, and maybe also the tower more to the top left, at the left of the farm below the desert. This is quite that area, so I think there's a big opportunity now, because Mikolaj has too many soldiers in the south.
Yeah, that's true. He would have to rely on the mana calls to reinforce that area, which is something you don't want to do. And Zena is finally smelting that gold. He's working with 65% combat power, has 2 gold smelters, and storing the gold in the market in the right hand side of the country. How's GioGio doing? Okay, he's slowly but surely recruiting those weapons. I think at this point it's taking too much. He's making no progress, actually. Last time I checked, he had 70 left. Now it's 75. I guess his production is just too good. 8 weaponsmiths, only 2 barracks, and really lack of settlers for a long time. And also they're spawning in the very far from the barracks, so they have to walk all the way to the barracks, all the way to the market, and then grab the weapons and recruit and turn into soldiers. So it's a shame. I think if he managed to recruit those faster, they could have been attacking right now.
Yeah, but okay, I think Generalen. Oh no, he's not saving up weapons, so he's still recruiting. So the window will still be there, as all the soldiers are already level 3 from GioGio, whereas Generalen will still recruit everything as level 2, and the level 3 to level 2 difference will be very big on the south side of the map. But yeah, Generalen definitely shouldn't give GioGio a fight. They should just back into their jungle of towers and try to get a fight over there.
Yeah, because as you said before, Zena has great advantage over Mikolaj, the north side of the map, and GioGio is still sending everything south. And even Mikolaj has 40 soldiers south to reinforce that area. I think they should really focus and try to move north, because that's where the fight, the actual fight, will happen. The Generalen will likely to delay GioGio's soldiers, but he can go back all the way. There's nothing to capture for GioGio here. Only Generalen can buy himself a lot of time there.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, in the south, we see another level 1 SWAT troop from Generalen waiting on the mirror axis, and yeah, then he will have 2 of those. So yeah, he singled out all the level 1 soldiers he made at the beginning when he recruited his level 1s, and yeah, looking for another chance with 2 troops at once now. But GioGio is also sending more spies in that direction, and he's splitting them up, and he will definitely, or he would have the chance to see them once they would move in.
and he's also keeping quite a few soldiers back at the tower. He has a large tower there as well. Mikolaj has a priest. Also, GioGio has a priest there. So I think they're pretty safe. And although Zena is keeping tabs on everything at all times with the spy by the bakery.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit sad that the soldiers on the left, on the bottom left from Generalen, have never get cleaned up. Like you know they're there. You probably have enough towers now to be safe and to not get sniped. But still, you just clear this kind of danger out because there are chances where they still gonna kill you, and if they don't kill you, then they may deal damage to your teammate because he's not aware as you are. And just deal with it. Send some soldiers there. In that case, some swords. Clear it out. Be done with it, and focus on other things.
Yeah, that's true. Just having to think about them at all times is a big no-no in the games like this, where you have to be really focused. And I just compared the soldiers difference between the players, and looks like we're approaching the point where Zena has twice the amount of soldiers as Mikolaj.
Oh boy.
It's going to be going to happen in pretty soon, unless Mikolaj ramps up his production, which it doesn't look like it. I mean, so far I can see only a couple of weaponsmiths working for him, whereas Zena has nice healthy production of how many weaponsmiths currently? 8, and I'd say all of them are working, yeah. So even if GioGio recruits his weapons and pushes Generalen back with the level 3 advantage, I don't think they will have enough to kill Zen at this point.
Yeah, it's a very big soldier difference now. And yeah, we understand why Mikolaj for a very long time was only on his 84% iron mine. He just now the iron mines from the South Mountain he took away from his teammate are starting to work, but they also don't have meat yet and are not running fully, or not running for a long time. So yeah, the iron difference in this game is quite enormous.
And Generalen hit level 3 of his own. He managed to save up a few, like 50 weapons, I'd say. Maybe less, but he's now recruiting level 3, so... And GioGio still struggling. Last time I checked, there was like 78, like 80 weapons, now it's 90 weapons that he has, so it's like he's making no progress whatsoever in recruiting those. That's just such a shame. They made very poor decision in how they split the mountain. And it really shows. It's really a big issue for them at this point. Might even lose them the game. No, I think if they want to look for something to blame of why they're struggling so much, I think it's how they split the mines and the lack of settlers from GioGio.
Yeah. But even now, like, GioGio has settlers on the bottom right, and why doesn't he just make some pioneers send him to his barracks and boost the recruitment a little bit? Or put them, I don't know, not at his barracks, but put him towards the mines, like something to stabilize the settlers count, where settlers are needed and settlers are recruited into soldiers. And any amount of extra settlers in that area would help him so much to gather some speed.
Yeah, I don't think he realized how important that is. He's adding more barracks, which is also fine, but as you said, moving the settlers to the market or to the mines would help him immensely. It's like the border is good, like the front line is getting longer and longer. Generalen is starting to send some soldiers even more south. He's at the small little mountain close to the axis already.
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised that GioGio, after he got his level 3 soldiers out, never really tried to contest Generalen. Like, you don't really have to fight or fight an all-in fight, but you can always poke a little bit with your level 3 soldiers, and most likely your enemy will make the decision to just fall back, as they know the fight level 2 against level 3 will be not in their favor. So you just play with your opponent a little bit, get back some positioning, and craft some opportunities that way. Because when Generalen is has to go a little bit further back, then maybe there are opportunities to start to storm the tower jungle if that is your plan. And yeah, that's what I would do. Like, you have to be active when you have the advantage. And even though there are still a lot of soldiers unrecruited at your barracks, you still have a lot of level 3 soldiers out. You should make use of them.
I agree. Maybe he got too preoccupied with trying to solve his settlers issue. And at this point, he's even backing down, and Generalen is posturing there in the middle. And Generalen has, I think, it's a combat power advantage over GioGio. Yeah, ever so slightly, a 6% more. So he has the spike already, Generalen that is. I've been told it's an 93% for the level 3. Whereas GioGio has to wait a little bit. Yeah, but even attacking, like having the advantage and attacking, you force your enemy to respond, in that you can choose where you attack, and he cannot choose when he defends. He has to defend where you attack. So you can mess up his build order, you can mess up his, he has to divide attention to the front line. It's all of those smaller factors that you have to use to gain any advantage that you can.
Yeah. One small thing I just spotted on the minimap is that Generalen in the top right corner is actually building a safe tower, and some spies are bringing a shovel and a hammer over there. So yeah, he's gonna build a tower there and be literally unsnipeable if that would be the move Mikolaj and GioGio would go for.
That's very smart. I mean, at this point, I think Mikolaj and GioGio would have to look for some play like that, some snipe of Generalen's towers, because I think we already hit the mark where Mikolaj, where Zena has not quite. Luckily Mikolaj has managed to ramp up his production, so Zena has managed to double his soldier count, but it's still the advantage for Zena is devastating at this point. Looks like he's posturing down the middle, pulling his soldiers together. Maybe he's looking to attack. He has 75 combat power at this point.
Yeah. And yeah, weaponsmith of Mikolaj are still not really running. I think it's only 2 or 3 running at 3 or 4 running at every time. And yeah, Zena's still fully producing, and the gap is widening.
He's really suffering from lack of iron. Now they're only now delivering the meat to the south mines very, very late. Whereas GioGio does not have meat at all currently at his mines. I think he hasn't casted the fish into meat spell for quite some time. He has the mana, he has the fish, he just doesn't cast them. I hope he doesn't miss it for too long. He has the pig farms of his own, but it's just 1, 2. So it's not going to be enough to supply food to all of his iron mines. I think he should cast the spell once again.
So he is on his 93% combat power spike now, and this would be the opportunity to go for it now.
It's now whenever he managed to recruit much more weapons. There's only 40 now in storage.
And he's sending pioneers. I like it.
Wow, a huge improvement there. Nice. He has to realize that he has no meat at his north mines, because that will be a huge problem for him. Especially if he starts attacking now, he will have even less attention to devote to economy.
Alright, let's have a look what Zena's doing. Not much. Building more farms, building more fishers on the north side. I guess it's typical late game stuff, but there's not much more for him to do, as he is completely capped on mountain. He could build some more coal mines here and there, which would, just eat bread to get you like 15% or something. It's better than nothing, and I think sooner or later he will get to this point and place the last mines onto his mountain.
They melted the snow on the small mountain back in Generalen's base.
Ah, nice.
And there is a nice coal there. I thought there would be iron. Iron is, I mean, meh, but the coal is much better.
Hmm.
Yeah, so now he has to add as many farms as he can and as many bakeries, and then build even the crappiest, the worst mines that he possibly can find, just to get that a little bit of coal on iron. He's moving some soldiers north, and he's also recruited a lot of spearmen. He's now making only spears, like spears exclusively. So I think he's looking to make a move in that middle part of the map.
Yeah, it's kind of a sign that the push is imminent at this point. And yeah, it's definitely the right position to attack for this team, whereas the GioGio and Mikolaj team should go in the bottom side. But yeah, still, it's just a standoff. But now a little bit of movement, but maybe it's a mutual enlargement of lines, and they just extend down towards this kind of lake, and still not bothering to engage into any fights. And yeah, we have to keep waiting.
I assume Zena is waiting for the combat power spike. I'm really bad with numbers. I'm not sure if 76% is the spike. I would think it is, but don't quote me on that. Maybe someone in chat will. Maybe someone in chat will.
Sorry.
Mention that. You okay?
Fucking dying, but it's fine.
We're all gonna die eventually. I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, luckily Mikolaj is, I think, aware of the spear flood incoming, because he's making spear of his own. It's very much a good idea. He needs them to block the Zena spears from just overthrowing his whole army. He doesn't need to have as many as Zena does, but you have to be able to like prepare like a front line, a buffer for your archers to fire. I think he also should finish those towers, those small towers that he's started to build there.
Yeah. In the north, Zena's kind of getting ambitious. He started to tower towards Mikolaj's land, so one tower finished, and the next one at least would crush a farm and a big farm being built at the moment. So it forces the hand a little bit of Mikolaj, and it also makes it that he has to spread his defense a little bit thinner now, as he has to probably send more soldiers to the left.
And Zena is widening the concave even more, so now he's basically going to be attacking from 3 different directions and into that middle part of Mikolaj's army. Is going to be very, very tight for him. It's going to be difficult to prepare nice fighting line there in those buildings. You'd have to crush a lot of them. It looks like the front line at the bottom, and the south side of the map, is widening even further. They'll soon reach
wide can it go?
To the bottom of the map, I guess. Yeah, but GioGio still not making a move. I don't think he realizes that he has an advantage over Generalen. It's quite a nice advantage too. It's like 150 soldiers at this point. He could surely push him back. And it looks like Zena is making a move now. I'll just take a quick look at GioGio's land, whether he turned he did turn the fish into meat. Thank God. That will not be a problem for him for the next few minutes. Zena moving more spears north. I think he's still making spears exclusively. No, he is making now even number of spears and bows.
Yep.
has 78 combat power, so that's, I'm pretty sure that's the spike that he was looking for. It looks like he is going to strike soon. Maybe he's waiting for that tower on the left hand side to finish, to give to devote Mikolaj's attention there even more.
Yeah. We also see that Mikolaj hasn't really reacted to the tower, so he didn't build any tower of his own, and this could be a possibility for a fight to break out. Like, Mikolaj can choose if he wants to prevent soldiers entering the finished tower to take away his land, or he just lets it happen and says that it's not really important, that the farm is getting crushed and Senna can keep towering. Because in the bigger picture, probably the only thing that matters for GioGio and Mikolaj is that GioGio wins the fight very much against Generalen, and they can snowball the game from there.
That's pretty much what they have to count on. But I would still try to defend that left side of the map. Even if Zena builds this tower, if he sees no resistance, he will not stop. He'll keep going further. And I mean, at some point, you have to try to stop him. And if he builds more towers, the concave is getting worse and worse, because he's getting more bigger and bigger surround at this point. And maybe he's not even looking for attack. He's just moving soldiers there to keep pushing there.
Small grind, but now bigger troop movements up there.
Oh yeah, that looks like a push. Let's see, that's be one of the most epic fights in the tournament.
With a cannon in the front line.
Yeah. Oh, so Kingcat doesn't look for that. He's not building the tower because he'll destroy the tower, the cannon. Obviously, I mean, how could I have missed that?
It's a big play Mikolaj did there. He built the cannon like 30 minutes in advance just for this moment, and the cannon did its job. And now we have the bigger fight going on, and Zena's pulling everything from the right side, and yeah, Mikolaj will be in trouble.
There's a bit of a movement from Generalen as well, but I think only to poke around. I presume GioGio is moving. He was trying to move up north, but maybe Mikolaj is calling that it's not necessary, but I think it's very much necessary. He's okay in the left-hand side, but the middle part, I think he's quite a bit.
He's calling help over there.
Yeah, he has to wait. Has to waste a lot of mana, and he has a few soldiers back in the forest, idling there. He should really move them. He pushed back Zena to his own land in north. The south fight is looking too bad now with the coals that helped. He still has the buffer with the spearmen, but now they're slowly but surely dying, and Zena's spearmen are now starting to really push on the archers, and now would be the good idea to call once more or pull some of the spearmen from the north part of the map, because Zena is starting to take down those towers, and I think he has a way better concave on the right part of the map, right part of the attack.
Yep. So yeah, the fight in Mikolaj land is all that matters. Meanwhile, in the south we have a big fight, and GioGio is winning that pretty much decisively. But all the soldiers are very far away from the action where it really matters now, and I think he probably doesn't have enough time to get back into Mikolaj's land to defend him.
But we'll see if Zena will be able to take all these towers. I mean, after all, it's quite a nice bunker they have over there, and Mikolaj managed to pull the spears from the north to support the middle part of the defense. And Zena, I think, he lost most of his spears at this point, so he's only now working with archers. And Generalen, I think he took a very bad fight there in the south. We'll check the numbers later. Now GioGio is making a push on those towers from Zena. I don't think he should really deal with them. He should just push further and try to defend Mikolaj. I think Mikolaj is actually fine. I think the combat power difference is the big problem there, and Generalen is losing the fight badly there in the south. Now
it's quite a turn. I think, like, if Zena doesn't have swords or spears ready, to take the tower, at least take this top tower, which would deal lots of damage. Then this attack was completely not wasted, but they didn't deal any relevant damage at all.
Generalen is taking horrible fights down south. Now
Yeah,
I
and
think
he keeps insisting. Like, he doesn't go back. He fights it out, and yeah, he will definitely lose everything down there.
now there was a bad call for Mikolaj and GioGio to keep fighting there in the middle. Now Zena has a full surround on the army. They could have just like sacrificed most of those towers, go back a little bit, defend the gold from Mikolaj, and wait for reinforcements for GioGio, because I think they have this game if Mikolaj doesn't lose the gold that he has stored in those 2 storages down south. He's pulling up pioneers. I think GioGio should send more reinforcements there, which he's doing so, but at the same time he's taking the weird
On the
fight
south side, both
yeah.
players are ulting.
I see.
What is this?
GioGio lost like
Black?
50 of his soldiers, but so did Generalen. I mean, that's the messiest fight in this game so far. And I think GioGio lost a bit of an advantage there, but I think he still should be able to win, providing he goes back down in the north, in the like top part of the fight. They're losing the fight at Mikolaj, although, yeah, as I said, Zena doesn't have anything to take those towers, so he's simply now losing soldiers to archers shooting from towers. Generalen managed to pull, like push back GioGio, but only ever so slightly. I don't think GioGio will lose those towers anytime soon. He's sending reinforcements back. You have to keep in mind that GioGio has his weaponsmith closer. Now the concave for Generalen is much better now, because GioGio had to devote his attention and send majority of his army to Mikolaj, but I don't think Generalen has enough to do any sizable damage there. And yeah, Zena is taking the gold from Mikolaj. He took 1 storage already, and now going for the second one. GioGio should try to stop him, but I don't think... I mean, he should be able to kill the pioneers eventually, but Zena will be able to take those that gold for a little bit. Generalen has to back off, go back from GioGio's land at the bottom. It looks like the situation has stabilized a little bit. Let's compare the armies real quick. GioGio working with 330 soldiers, whereas Generalen has only 150, so that's a double soldier advantage from GioGio. Mikolaj only 42, whereas Zena has 110, but I think GioGio will be able to just win this game on his own, and Zena is not going for the gold, he's going for the mines instead, and he will lose that fight in the middle at the Mikolaj's land.
Oh, I'm very surprised that this turned out the way it did, but I also think it's due to Generalen insisting on taking the fight in the south, which he lost completely, and then GioGio had enough time to save the scraps in Mikolaj's land. Mikolaj, let's check. He lost like 3 farms, lost a little bit of gold. He has the opportunity to take it back now if he pioneers fast enough. So nothing crucial as of now, as he has enough bread, and the loss of the 3 farms wouldn't matter too much at the moment.
That's true, and he's losing some of the mines, but I don't think it matters as much. I don't think he will even lose those. He managed to
he's
save.
counter pioneering very nicely. Good reaction. Only thing is to be careful is that this tower Zena's building, I don't know, there's probably no soldiers nearby. But yeah, if there was 1 soldier sneaking around, then the tower finishing and Mikolaj not having soldiers around there to immediately capture it on his own could be a thing which deals damage, but it won't happen.
Yeah, also in that fight, I think simply Zena didn't have as much combat power as Mikolaj defending there. He only had like 80%. So he had to, even though the concave was very, very good, there were just simply too many towers. He lost the spearmen. He did not have the swordmen to take those towers. And then he lost like quite a few soldiers to simply archers from those towers. Now GioGio is making a push in the south, fighting quite poorly, I would say, but he has the numbers advantage over there. So if he just pushes with control, as he does now, he should be able to break Generalen eventually.
Yeah, and they're slowly taking this tower jungle back. Already got 3 towers, another one is gonna fall. And he's ulting forward, and this army from Generalen will be defeated.
Yeah, that does look like a game for them. I don't see Generalen and Zena pulling anything miraculously in this point, unless GioGio isn't producing completely, which, I mean, it slowed down a little bit, but he managed to keep his meat production just fine, and he's now going into Zena's territory, and even Mikolaj managed to recapture the gold. Now Zena is still trying, even Generalen sent some swords to Mikolaj's towers, but it's too little too late. I think GioGio will simply be able to both defend Mikolaj and push back into Zena's land. He even brought some spears to take the towers.
I really like that he's producing a lot of spears in this situation. I also think that spears now, once the archer numbers on the map got reduced greatly, they gain a lot more value, and it's very good to mix in spears in that scenario regardless. And yeah, now he's able to take some towers. And as of now, it's not too important, but the next two towers, they will definitely hurt, as the food production will get crushed by them.
Yeah, and at this point, Generalen cannot really get like back into this game in terms of like army. He's just sending soldiers from the barracks, and he cannot establish a good fighting position for himself, and he will be slowly bleeding soldiers at this point. And they have to defend here because, as you said, they're slowly but surely going into Senna's production. Even though he has plenty of food, the next few towers will start hurting. And at this point, I think it's just a snowball effect from GioGio. He has a lot of not only soldiers but combat power too. Yeah, almost 100.
Yeah, Senna committed for a long time still in Mikolaj's land, and just now pulled some soldiers away for the defense. But yeah, GioGio also had a lot of soldiers in Mikolaj's land, and they are catching up to the main army now. And yeah, the push is still very strong. A lot of towers there, and they are not filled up with soldiers. I think you should at least do that and increase the amount of damage you are able to deal. But yeah, will be tough to stop this.
No, General managed to pull a bigger army there, and then now that they're defending both Zena and him versus GioGio, we have to keep in mind that Mikolaj is barely producing anything, whereas Zena is still producing, so GioGio has to make it basically a 2v1 situation, has to win this against two players. He's doing a fine job, but I think like he's losing a lot of soldiers on the right hand side to Generalen, maybe because some of them are injured. Even though he's doing a fine job, he has to fight efficiently, because I think their production is slightly worse than Generalen's. I'm not sure how Generalen is doing in terms of production. He's producing fine.
Yeah, I just wish the towers from Zena would be full, because then on the top side they would deal a lot more damage, and yeah, GioGio has to pull back, and I don't know, maybe the game will stabilize once again, and there will not be a killing blow as of now.
It looks like so. Zena's production he's just producing a bit too many soldiers, and now the further GioGio advances, the farther away he's from his barracks, so the longer time the reinforcements need to arrive there. And now it's the opposite situation. Now he has the smaller army, and they're both pushing him back, and he has to go back, and he has to stop bleeding soldiers at this point, I think. Try to stabilize and maybe make sure that Mikolaj starts producing again. Oh, this game is very close, on the edge.
Yeah, extremely close. And yeah, we can see Mikolaj doesn't have mana, as he had to use all of his mana to defend the push from Zena, and he's desperately waiting for his next stone to iron spell, so his weaponsmith would start working, but it's still lacking a little bit. And yeah, it's all very valuable time Zena and Generalen need at this moment to stabilize the game and get back on track.
There's a Pio war going down, Generalen pushing. Also Zena sending out of pioneers. Looks like GioGio is making a stand in here with the help of some of the Mikolaj's spearmen. I'm not sure if you're able to win this fight right here. I think the pioneers are doing fine job tanking. Now Zena is flooding Mikolaj with pioneers. I mean, how it looks like they're winning, to be honest. Because if those towers from Mikolaj fall, and now GioGio is losing a lot of soldiers in a pretty poor fight south, If Mikolaj loses those towers, he loses production and he loses gold, most importantly. And now it will be a game for them. Very poor fight there by GioGio and South. I think I will cost.
Yeah, but the numbers are getting lower and lower for him, so yeah, it's easy to get into bad fights, and both players are below 100 soldiers now. Fairly enough, enemy team is doesn't have that much more. But yeah, the push in the middle from Senna is probably getting stopped for the moment. But the bigger picture doesn't change. Generalen and GioGio will be kind of even from now on, where Senna will definitely keep his edge over Mikolaj, and they should be able to push in that area sooner or later again.
There's Mikolaj took some of the his pioneers were working on the mountain, and he pioneered some of the GioGio's mines. I think that's why his production was slightly slower. But another call from Mikolaj. I guess he's not going to turn stone into iron. He will try to do everything to hold on those towers, but I don't think he can. I mean, the flood from Generalen is and also from Senna. The soldiers keep coming. He sent some reinforcements from south. Now he has a nice surround there of the army, so he gets to live another day. Mikolaj this, but there's a crucial tower falling in the north part of the country. Lost a lot of farms, and Senna is going for the gold once again.
Yeah.
You're fighting tooth and nail here. Generalen has slightly more spears, and he manages to push back GioGio on the middle side there. I don't think he can take the towers just yet, but I mean it's very close. It's all about those. It's all about those towers.
One more tower is falling, and I think the other one, yeah, is falling as well. Yeah, they're holding on, but I think now the next tower will be the kicker, and there is level 3 sword, and that tower will fall almost immediately. And yeah, not much of an eco will be left for Mikolaj. I think this is what will break the camel's back.
Yep. Wow. GioGio isn't sending anymore. He has settlers, but he doesn't have iron now. Maybe the fact that Mikolaj took those mines, I don't think he cut them off completely, so they were still carrying out iron. I don't think that actually affected his production at all. But yeah, he took a lot of poor fights there in the bottom, trying to kill Senna, which he couldn't simply because of how big their production was. And now Mikolaj will fall. I'm not sure if it's his last tower, but it's the last tower that matters.
Should be. As there are no safe towers in the back.
Yeah, that's the last tower. But yeah, but the gold falls, so it doesn't matter. Now Senna has plenty of combat power to fight. GioGio would have to put a miracle on, but he doesn't. He just crushes him. That's a GG. Wow. Very close game.
Yeah, it was very dramatic turn in the last 20 minutes when we started to fight.
Probably missed like half of the action. I know I did at the fight against Generalen and GioGio. I didn't. I wasn't really showing it at the beginning, but later on I did, luckily, and yeah. Let's take a look at the stats. I'm actually very curious.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can spoil it already. We see a little bit of an Asian difference in the statistics.
Yeah, not quite twice as many soldiers for Senna, but 300 more. Although Mikolaj did have twice as much gold, almost twice as much gold as Senna. So it's not all too devastating. But GioGio has a nice advantage, 100 soldiers over Generalen, but you can see the fights. Even though he fought so poorly there at the end of the game, he still has like 400 more battles than soldiers. Obviously, a lot of these are pioneers, because they did send the flood in. But I think still, I think he had more, like he was fighting better there at the beginning. Overall, in terms of the team situation, Senna and Generalen have 200 soldiers more, mostly in Senna's army. the gold is more or less even. But yeah, I guess GioGio built. He did have 2 mines, I think, not 3, 2. I know Generalen also, but maybe the Generalen's mines were slightly better, more efficient.
I wish we had some statistics like in ZL-Footsoldier where you could exactly see how much ore or what kind of ore people gathered. And I'm pretty sure that almost all of the mine difference is, or a big part of that will be iron ore, because Mikolaj actually had coal. He sent a lot of coal away. Mines were lying full all the time, and the soldiers' difference is simply just the iron ore, which Zena had more at his disposal, and thus was able to build up this enormous lead at the end of the game against Mikolaj.
They just split the mines poorly. At the end, I also saw that the few mines that Mikolaj, iron mines that he built at the bottom, at the south, on the small mountain, they were overflowing with iron. I think because A, they was too far from his main production, and B, he didn't have enough iron smelters to smelt that quickly and turn into iron bars. Yeah, so simply, I mean, that was a big mistake when they look back at this replay and the game, they realize how poorly the fact that they split the mines in the way they did worked out for them. All right, so that was it. That was a very good game. I'll say one of the better games in the tournament, if not the best, I would say so far, at least for me. And at this point, Mikolaj and GioGio unfortunately are out of the tournament, and Generalen and Zena live to fight another day after a very, very tough battle. They've proven they're resilient during critical times when the rush is imminent, and then they can also play for a long game. Maybe a bit of a poor fighting there by Generalen at the bottom, but I'm sure they can work on that and going into another game.
Yeah, the problem with that fight is that the quote-unquote mistake happened beforehand macro-wise, because Generalen was way later with his level 3 and thus had to recruit a lot more level 2 soldiers than GioGio had to. And that's what GioGio's lead was mostly. But yeah, of course he has 100 more soldiers produced anyway, but he also got a lot of coal from Mikolaj to do so. So economically, like mine points wise, they are kind of close performance wise, but the level 3 timing was a big difference during the game.
Yeah, and GioGio took the more convenient mines close by the iron mines, which General left for Zena, and he went instead towards the middle mountain. He took those, and so that's maybe delayed him slightly. All right, any last thoughts?
It was a very exciting game. Like compared to the other games I casted so far, this was actually great. I liked it a lot.
I agree completely. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and Kingcat, thank you for casting.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I guess we'll see you in the next games. Bye bye.